Can we give a quick round of applause for this event? Women in Digital, Elena, the whole team. Thank you guys so much. This is an amazing, amazing conference, and I'm so proud to be part of it. And I just want to start with a statement, guys. We've come a long way, right? Jean Kilbourne, I hope you all know her name, in the 1960s started to collect advertisements, and she would cut them out of magazines and newspapers and basically just put them up on her fridge. And what she was collecting were ads that dehumanized, degraded, or otherwise objected women, like this. And this. It's nice to have a girl around the house. Or this. Any protein cereal helps you keep the same size as long as it's post-grape nuts. And of course this. Show her it's a man's world, right? That these are ancient history, right? I mean, we don't do this anymore. We've come so much farther than that. Or have we, right? We have a long way to go until our ads start to catch up with the rest of our equality and our opinions. But Jean really was the first to ask a very important question, which is, what is the impact of advertising on women? She's a pioneering activist. If you don't know her videos, they're called Killing Us Softly. You can find them on YouTube. Please use this opportunity to Google Jean Kilbourne. And I consider myself an unofficial disciple of Jean Kilbourne. And I love the work that she does, and I love the questions that she's asked us to make and to ask ourselves. And I think it's important that we do become very critical of the advertising that we see. And as marketers, I think it's important that we're able to ask ourselves the impact of what we do. Jean, of course, found that the effects of advertising on women are largely subconscious. We don't think we're affected by them, and yet we are. We're exposed to thousands of messages every single day. She found that a lot of advertising that we see creates a culture in which violence against women is normalized. And of course, as we know, it sets impossible standards for us to reach. Women are meant to be young and thin. Women of color are meant to fit the white ideal. Men are meant to be bigger than they are. Impossible standards. Jean called bullshit years ago, and she's been doing it ever since. She tours the country giving this message. But it's 2017, right? It's practically 2018. We've come so far, right, ladies? We've moved, as Jean suggested, from consumerism to consciousness. And that's the dream, to not be impacted by these ads, but to be highly conscious of their effect. We're smarter than this now, right? Heck, we're woke, right? I'm here to call bullshit on that too, and I'd like you to join me on a little journey today as we call bullshit on what I believe is an illusion of progress. The image you see on screen is an illusion. There's no triangle there. It's created by the wedges and the angles. And I believe we suffer from a very serious illusion that we've made progress in marketing to women. Let me introduce myself. I'm an on-demand marketer, which is the fancy word for saying I'm a freelancer. Best job in the world. I have been called an unapologetic marketing truth teller, which is a moniker that I wear quite proudly. In my history, I've been a startup CMO and entrepreneur. I like to work with small companies. And most of my career has actually been marketing to marketers. Whether it's technology or services or similar, it's given me a very unique perspective on the world of marketing. I'm also a woman. I'm a wife. I have a lovely wife named Martine. We don't have kids just yet, but we will someday. And I have to ask myself as a woman, as a marketer, as a confluence of all of these things, what kind of a world are we creating for the next generation? But being so close to marketing, both in my practice and in my focus, has given me an immense respect for the craft of marketing. I also respect the power of marketing. In my work, in all of our work, we know the impact it can have. It can lift companies from an unknown startup to a category leader. But it has more impact than that. It has an opportunity to create our ideals, to shape our images of ourselves and the world we live in. And it has a very powerful impact on how we define normal. Ads and all marketing sells more than products. They sell normalcy. They define what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, and who we are. And that's a very powerful, powerful thing. So I'm here today to switch the question a little bit. I want to continue Jean's work. And I want to ask the question, what is the impact in 2017 of advertising on feminism, the F word? What is the impact of marketing campaigns that use feminism as a narrative on our fight for women's equality? I'm going to show you a few.
Is it tough competing in a man's world? Maybe for the men. Lash volume that speaks volumes. Lash Blast Mascara. From CoverGirl.
So this ad is asking the question, can you really be a female athlete if you don't have 6-foot-long eyelashes? Guys, I'm going to call bullshit on this, okay? I'm going to show you another one that has a familiar metaphor of breaking the glass ceiling.
Here's to breaking more glass ceilings in golf and everywhere else. KPMG, continuing our commitment to the next generation of women leaders.
KPMG, of course, one of the big 4 accounting firms, right? Supporting women's equality is important to them because they actually sponsor a KPMG golf tournament. KPMG is also the subject of a $400 million class action lawsuit alleging a pattern of gender discrimination. 1,000 women, more than are at this conference today, have spoken up about KPMG denying promotions to women and penalizing them for taking maternity leave. But the ad is cute, right? Maybe we should all say this together. Bullshit. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, it felt good, didn't it? One more.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, and their tears are filling up their glasses. No expression, no expression. Mad world, mad world.
Be strong and shine. Apparently, liberation from sexist business labels only occurs if your hair is stunning and gorgeous. And also, you have to wear heels like this, apparently, to avoid that. Some ads take on the very familiar fight of paying negotiation. You ever been in this situation? For the record, I like this next ad. I think it's cute. Let's watch it together.
Mr. Kendall, I need to ask you a favor. Not really a favor, just like... Mr. Kendall, I worked on the Padstow team, actually, and we won the business. I mean, just helped. Okay, Lucy. Casual. Bobby, how's it going? You're looking great. That tie is super sick. You know, Todd makes more than I do, and he's only worked here for 2 years. You know, I'm also a really great leader. Really have things...
Do it.
Secret, stress tested for women.
Again, I like that one, right? We should all support each other in the bathroom when we're all fighting for pay equality. The problem I have is with P&G. I mean, P&G is Secret's parent company, and they boast an executive team that is 75% men, which is not a problem. But do you know that they win awards for that ratio? That's an award-winning ratio in our business. Can we all just say it together? Just ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's such a good word. I love it. I have more. There's so many.
Sorry, can I ask a stupid question?
Sorry, do you have a minute?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Mind if I squeeze in here?
Sorry.
So is Tim.
Sorry. You go first.
No, it's just, I was gonna say.
I have a question. Why don't we go back to the original thing that we did?
Morning. You got a minute?
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Pantene, shine strong, ladies. I love this ad because it's just hilarious to me that, don't say sorry, but please do make sure that you continue to spend $426 billion every year on beauty products. Oh, and still only make 79 cents to the dollar if you're a white woman. This masks the underlying issue. It's bullshit, right? There's more. You may have seen this during the Super Bowl this year from Audi.
What do I tell my daughter? Do I tell her that her grandpa's worth more than her grandma? That her dad is worth more than her mom? Do I tell her that despite her education, her drive, her skills, her intelligence, she will automatically be valued as less than every man she ever meets? Or maybe I'll be able to tell her something different.
Luckily, there are no lawsuits to speak of Audi's equal pay for equal work promised there at the end. But they do have no female board members, which I just think is odd for a company that likes to wear this on the sleeve and likes to spend millions of dollars to have it advertised during the Super Bowl. So again, I say, bullshit. This is the ad that started it all. We've all seen it. This is not a new trend, but it's just clearly so popular. And by the way, there are many, many more companies using this campaign and this narrative. But we all know where it all started. You're all gonna recognize this. It's kind of a throwback. Remember?
Real women with real beauty. Dove keeps them beautiful. Dove bar free with every Dove shampoo.
Free soap, sign me up. I'm ready. This is the campaign that really kicked this off. Dove is well known for having this kind of femvertising in their ads, right? This is such a popular campaign that Dove actually got something like 30 times the amount of media exposure than what they paid for. This was just so different than what anyone had seen. They shared it, they talked about it, it got press. Dove grew from like $2.5 billion to $4 billion in the 10 years since it aired. I just love that. Real women, real beauty. Here's why I'm calling a bullshit. Because the problem with Dove is who they're owned by. A company called Unilever. We'll get to them in a minute. Dove continues to do these campaigns today. Has anyone seen this? It ran in the UK. There were bottles that they put on supermarket shelves, in the shape of women, or at least what they think women are shaped like. This campaign got dragged online. People completely tore it apart because it's kind of gimmicky, right? In Marketing Week, Ruth Mortimer wrote, "I've yet to meet the women honored and celebrated by plastic bottles on supermarket shelves." Rachel on Twitter said, "Dove, I have arms. Please advise." And Jezebel, "Have you ever been in the shower, picked up your smooth, perfect soap container and screamed, 'I can't live up to these standards'?" The reason that people hated this campaign, or at least the press did is because it was gimmicky. It didn't stand up to that promise of celebrating real women and real campaigns and real beauty, right? I love that voiceover. And here's the problem. Unilever, which is Dove's parent company, also owns Axe body spray. Same company telling you that real women and real beauty should be celebrated are famous for those old Axe ads. Let's watch one. I miss these. Who else missed those Axe ads? Oh wait, nobody. Nobody missed those, right? Talking about misogyny. There's also these ads from Axe. Can you imagine the voiceover the same as the Dove ads? Real beauty is dropping your panties for a guy because he smells like Abercrombie and Fitch. And in this campaign, they actually reduced women, down to a pair of breasts. This campaign actually got pulled, but it was what men noticed first. And it was literally just a pair of boobs walking around an office. Same company that's telling you that real women, real beauty should be celebrated. Same company. I call this feminist when convenient, right? It's feminism as an afterthought. It's feminism as the answer to the question, how do we sell more products to women? And it's bullshit. Guys, who hasn't seen Fearless Girl, right? This made absolute international headlines. I wanted so badly to love this campaign. I wanted so badly to stand for it. Features a young girl standing in front of, speaking of bull, the charging bull, right, in Wall Street, in the Manhattan's financial district. And it was commissioned by State Street's global advisors. As they put it, to celebrate the power of strong women leaders. I hate to do this. State Street just agreed to pay $5 million for not paying women as much as men. It's in the press. It happened a few weeks ago. They weren't paid as much as their white male counterparts. This is black executives and women. And they boast an executive team that is 82% male and entirely white. There's nothing wrong with using this narrative in your campaign. I love that companies want to promote women's equality. That was like God agreeing with me. I just believe it should be done with a little bit more discretion. This is a trend that has become known as femvertising. There's even a company that gives out awards for femvertising. That company is called She Knows Media, and She Knows Media is a for-profit women's lifestyle company who makes money off the back of advertising to women. So they celebrate these campaigns that I've shown you with industry awards. Now in marketing, we love to give things cute names. So we've called it femvertising. You can Google the word. There's many examples of it. And it's when you harness feminism in your advertising, according to Forbes. In time for Halloween, I can't help but be a little horrified at femvertising. I started noticing them a couple of years ago, just watching TV. I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, this is a weird trend. I keep seeing more and more of these. And as a marketer, I understand why companies do it. So do you. We love to share this stuff, right? This feels good to share. We live in a very polarizing time, understatement of the century, and we want to share things on social that reflect our point of view. And who wouldn't want to share one of these ads? Of course we want gender equality and people not to say sorry and to show each other supporting each other in the bathroom or workplace. That's not the problem. These campaigns have a massive impact for the companies that use them and deploy them. They tend to go a little bit viral. But when is a movement not a movement? When it's a marketing campaign in a movement's clothing. This is the tweetable moment, ladies. When is a movement not a movement when it's a marketing campaign in a movement's clothing? Only 11% of creative directors in advertising are women. The people that do these campaigns are majority men. The world's top 6 ad groups are run by men. I believe in the power of marketing. That's why I'm here. That's why I love what I do. The problem is that I believe it's having a very negative impact on the fight for women's equality. It's cheapened it down to a hashtag. It's reduced it. It's minimized the point. It's minimize the impact of the word feminism. My problem is if you wear this value on your sleeve, but you represent something completely different at your core, that's a disconnect. And we cannot become complacent at this disconnect. We can't just let companies get away with it. I want to break this down a little bit. Let's just explore this and unpack it. Feminism is this radical notion, right, that women should be treated equally to men. We're all in agreement with that. Advertising is a paid announcement that's meant to sell a product. They're fundamentally different things. They're not necessarily opposed, they just gravitate in different worlds. So what happens when you try to mix them? You get this third dimension of exploitation, which is when you take advantage of someone to benefit from their work. So I don't call this trend femvertising. Again, that's a marketing word. I call this faux feminism, because I'm a marketer, so I'm going to redefine it. This is the exploitation of feminism by advertising, and it's got to stop. It has to stop. It completely reduces the point. It puts a blunt edge on what should be a sharp point of feminism. And that word feminism has become incredibly polarizing. It's lost its meaning. It's crippled the message of feminism in a time when it matters the most. Right? This masks the underlying core problem. We don't need feminist advertising. We need companies to stop perpetuating this gender divide that still, like every ad that I showed you, requires women to be beautiful and thin and fit the white ideal. That's what needs to stop. We have to stop celebrating companies for giving lip service to the idea of feminism. Because if we do, we're telling them, you know what, it's okay to cash in. It's okay to cash in on feminism. And here's the other problem. It perpetuates the illusion of feminism, the illusion of equality, the illusion that we're actually making more progress than we are. McKinsey and Company found that men are more likely to think the workplace is equitable. Women see a workplace that is less fair and offers less support. These ads make other people think there's nothing wrong, that we are more progressive than we are at the surface. Underneath every femvertising campaign, even the award winners, are real women like you and I, living and breathing, who are paid less than our male counterparts, who are passed over for promotion, while our companies advertise the importance of women's equality. What about the work that has been done to date, from Seneca Falls to today? What about the hard-fought battles that have actually been forged, the hard and uphill climbs to get where we are, which is still not that far? Feminism is not a new concept. It's been around for a long time. What's new is this veneer of progress, this bullshit veneer of progress. We cannot reduce feminism down to the simple act of buying a car, buying a shampoo, or running an ad. It's just not like that. Some people call this pinkwashing. Some people call this soft feminism. They literally want to take the edge off feminism. They've disabled feminism. I believe that we need to keep our fangs a bit sharp. We cannot be swayed by companies who want to take advantage of our demographic identities without really caring about social causes, right? So, what do we do about it? If you're a marketer in the room, which most of us are, I'd like to propose some rules of engagement before your company uses feminism in your ad campaign. You can do so. I would love if you did. It helps us spread the message with millions of dollars of ad buys, but only if you're a model for women's equality internally. And you can put your money where your mouth is and support groups that actually help women. If you can hold up to the scrutiny of equal pay and equal opportunity, if you're ready to open the kimono and show us that you're actually good to your word, and if you walk the talk. We each have a choice as marketers, every single day, of what star to hitch our wagon to, what narrative to plug into. I work in PR, I get it. This stuff is trendy right now. Man, is it in style to support women. But before you do, think hard before attaching your brand to things that matter more than your brand ever could. That's a quote from my friend Doug Kessler, who's a marketing thought leader. Think hard before attaching your brand to things that matter way more than your brand ever could. And so, with the risk of sounding like a used car salesman, what I'd like to do now is propose 10 real ways to empower women without relying on the cheap and gimmicky exploitation of feminism in your advertising. You guys ready? 10 real ways to support women without relying on cheap and gimmicky advertising. Number 1, employ them. Hire all the women. Hire them all. Hire women. For the people in the back, hire more women. That's how you're going to help fix this problem. Number 2, demand diversity in your agencies and your suppliers. It's a great way to fix the wage gap. Give people more opportunity who don't have it. In your campaign, celebrate women for their achievements and not their appearance. Mandate that when you hire, you're expecting a diverse set of candidates. Research shows that when you mandate diversity, people make better decisions. Number 5, demonstrate transparency in your pay structure. Prove equal pay for equal work. That's a great way to actually have an impact on this problem. Number 6, ask yourself, do we have a baby penalty? Do we support working parents so that women aren't forced to make a family or work decision? Number 7, train your employees about bias. The impetus is not all on women to lean in. Cheryl, we're leaning. We have to train our employees on our implicit bias, men and women. If you're not aware of it, it requires education. Number 8, pay fair wages. By 2024, 1 in 6 of all low-paying jobs, all jobs, is going to be considered low-wage women's work. Working poverty is a women's issue. Number 9, don't whitewash this issue. We know that white women make 79 cents to the man's dollar. Black women make 63 cents of that dollar, and Latinas make 54 cents of that dollar. We need to give a voice to the voiceless. We need to represent minorities. We need to speak up for each other. That's how we will avoid whitewashing the feminism issue. And finally, have respect for the real challenge and the importance of women's equality. Don't reduce it down to a hashtag, as cute as it seems, and as much as you think it's a good idea. Never reduce feminism to a marketing campaign. Look, I'm a marketer, I get it. I like money a lot. I love getting paid, it's a great feeling. This is about the bottom line. Marketing's goal is to grow businesses, and I agree, you should do it. And you should do it well. So if basic decency isn't enough reason to support women in the workplace, maybe this will help. They are the ultimate economic accelerator. Among all Fortune 500 companies, the one that perform the best have the highest representation of women on their boards. They significantly outperform the other. That's from the UN Women's Report. It just makes fiscal sense. It makes sense for humanity. And so please, know that we have a voice in this as well. This ad ran on the London Tube recently. Are you beach body ready? Which I say, I'm at the beach, I have a body, I think I'm ready. But 70,000 people signed a petition to remove this ad. They spoke up and said, we're not having this. My kids have to look at this. My young girls have to see this and question whether they're beach body ready. This has happened in the UK. And so Mayor Sadiq Khan removed it and set a measure that prevented negative body image ads from appearing in the London Tube. Petition. It works. Who knew? We can vote with our wallets, as we saw yesterday with Shannon. We can vote with our signatures. And marketers, we can help this issue internally. I believe in the power of marketing. I believe that we can and we must do better. Thank you guys all so much. Thank you. Thanks.